Hey everyone, it's Sevy, and the new weapons for 2.2 just dropped today on the Genshin Twitter, so let's just chat a bit about them. The Polar Star, at level 90 out of 90, Polar Star is going to have 33.1% crit rate. Its base attack is going to be 608, and then its passive says Elemental Skill and Elemental Burst damage increased by 12%. It can gain stacks from normal charged skill burst attacks, and you will get attack increases based on those stacks. But it says that stacks gained from normal attack, charge attack, elemental skill, or elemental burst will be counted independently from each other. So I think the main question that people will be asking with this bow is it going to be Childe's new best in slot? I feel like fashion-wise, it looks pretty apt for him. But comparing Polar Star to present bows such as Skyward Harp and Thundering Pulse, assuming you have the right crit artifacts to balance your crit stats, Thundering Pulse, I think, still has a nicer passive and nicer stats to be best in slot for Childe. Its passive additional damage bonus is like too good to pass up for him, not to mention that Thundering Pulse already increases attack without any conditions. And of course, it has a huge crit damage substat, which is very useful. But Thundering Pulse was a while ago. You might not have pulled it, you might not have it. So let's compare Polar Star and Skyward Harp. So between Skyward Harp and Polar Star, they are both crit rate weapons, but their passives are pretty different from each other. The passive effect of Polar Star is really more geared towards Childe's kit. There's the elemental skill and burst damage bonus that will help his Riptide damage and bursts, and those are his largest sources of damage, and they're AoE damage, so you can't pass that up. I also think that with Polar Star, if you're using it with Childe, then it's pretty easy to get all or at least 3 stacks of Polar Star. So Polar Star does have a lower base attack than Skyward Harp, but it compensates for that with 11% more crit rate. Okay, which is a good boost compared to Skyward's 22% crit rate. So the question is, are these two weapons going to be comparable? Is Polar Star going to come out on top? And we're going to find that out once we pull Polar Star. Okay, you can rest assured that we will have our typical damage comparison videos between Polar Star, Skyward Harp, and we're going to compare it to Thundering Pulse. So look forward to that. Now let's take a look at the other weapon that was just posted. It's a 4-star Claymore that's going to be limited to the event wish banner. Okay, it's not going to be available in the standard banner. So this is called the Akuoumaru. I'm so sorry if I butchered the pronunciation, but basically it's a 4-star Claymore. It has a base attack of 510 at level 90, and it has an attack substat of 41.3%. Now its passive is called Watatsumi Wave Walker, and it says for every point of the entire party's combined maximum energy capacity, the elemental burst damage of the character equipped this weapon will be increased by 0.12% or 0.12%. A maximum of 40% increased elemental burst damage can be achieved this way. So to get a quick computation of how much that is in terms of energy points, if you divide 40% by 0.12%, that is 333 energy points total in the team. I think it's nice that it's 330 plus so that it actually accommodates Raiden's 90 energy burst. When I heard that there was a new Claymore coming out, I was really hoping that it would benefit Xinyan significantly because Xinyan is going to be a feature character in this patch with a cameo in the next event. This Claymore kind of does. Even though Xinyan's burst only costs 60, at least it adds onto the elemental burst damage multiplier, and it has an attack percent substat, which Xinyan's burst scales solely off of. So if you're not familiar with Xinyan's kit, defense goes to her skill shield, and attack goes to her burst. If you put this on Xinyan, it can help her as a burst DPS, which the rare Genshin player does build. Other than that, the Claymore looks like it'll be a decent weapon on other characters like Beidou and Eula who have high burst costs and high burst multipliers, and this will just benefit it even more, even with that attack percent substat. So is this weapon going to be good for Chongyun? I think drip-wise, fashion-wise, it's gonna look fabulous, okay? But damage-wise, even though Chongyun's burst only costs 40 energy, it will be a good weapon on him, especially if you play him on national team, because national team's total burst cost is 260 energy, and if you compute the bonus from that, then you get 31.2% elemental burst bonus for Chongyun, and that's pretty significant. You know, that will definitely help him as a burst nuke DPS on that team. But lastly, okay, and we can't ignore this, when Paimon posted these photos, you can see at the bottom there's a new addition showing the ascension materials of the weapons. We've been hoping for a long time that Genshin would officially post the materials that you can pre-farm for weapons, and they finally did that. And I think that that's a step in the right direction. I hope in the future they will do this for upcoming characters. I don't know if that's too much to expect or if that's a tall order, but I think seeing it on the weapon description here, it kind of gives you a bit of hope, right? So that's going to be all for this video, everyone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. And I will see you soon. Take care.